What's going on, guys and gals? Got two Remington 870 Wingmasters here. Both really nice guns. The top one has a little bit more wear on it than the bottom one. They're both 12 gauge. They're both 2 3/4 only. The top one with the wood forearm, wood stock, has got a 20-inch barrel with a 3-shot magazine extension. The bottom one has an 18-inch barrel with a 2-shot magazine extension. And we'll start right there. If you can see where this doesn't line up with that one, but the barrels are pretty much the same. You can see the difference between an 18 and a 20. They either one is fine. This one holds 6+1. This one holds 7+1. So if you go with and you could always get a magazine extension that sticks out further. This one would stick out, a little bit further than this one, about that much. That doesn't hurt anything. Looks goofy to me, but it doesn't hurt anything. So if you got an 18.5-inch barrel, you want a 2-shot extension. If you got a 20-inch barrel, you want a 3-shot extension. And it'll line up even with the barrel. And these are both Carlson magazine extensions. They're both identical. You can see the barrel bands are both identical. Both the same. I believe this bottom one has been re-blued. If you can tell the difference between the bluing on those. Like I said, the top one has got a little more wear. But you can see this one's a little bit flatter. Does that matter on these? No. Not in my opinion. If you can find one that's been re-blued. As long as the price reflects it. And you can get these Wingmasters for fairly cheap, because sometimes they will have some wear on them. But you can get them fairly cheap. I say go for the Wingmaster over an Express or just about any of them. They're just really smooth, really nice. The police ones, I believe the police Magnums are really nice. But these Wingmasters, if you're looking for one, I would go with the Wingmaster. Obviously, you see I got two of them. And that's the reason why. They got bluing, so that if you're not a fan of bluing, maybe go with a different one too. And you can see I got a pistol grip on this one. I believe that's a choke pistol grip. It came with the shotgun. You can see how the stocks don't line up. I think this one had a side saddle on it because it's got these on there. And they took it off before they sold it. It's got a choke forearm, which this forearm is really slender. It feels pretty good. I think it looks good. It's kind of the reason why I went with it, and it sleeks down the gun. You can see how much bigger this one is than this, and I really like these right here. These are hard to find. Sometimes you pay $7,500 for one of these because they're hard to find, so it's better just to find the shotgun with it on there, and it's just that classic look. Just that classic police shotgun look that I love. I was going to get one of the police folding stocks, one of the original Remington ones, like Linda Hamilton using Terminator 2. It just looked really awesome. Those are expensive. Are they worth it? If I could get one for $7,500, I probably would. $200, $250, whatever they go for is a little much. The conventional stocks work fine. This one's got some wear on it. That's an eBay shell holder. I actually like those. They got nice cheek rest on the other side. These are for $25. These are actually pretty decent. This stock feels really good. This handle is pretty narrow. They probably could have put a little more circumference around this handle, but it feels pretty good. I can rock either one. Doesn't matter. 2 3/4 only. Now that's going to be some debate right there. Should you pass on a shotgun that takes 2 3/4 only? I say absolutely not. 2 3/4 only is fine. I'm not a big fan of 3-inch Magnums, 3.5s. I think they're a bit overrated when you're talking about self-defense. If you're talking about hunting, as far as waterfowl, geese, turkeys, I think Magnums make more sense. Reach out a little bit further. The smaller the shot, generally, the bigger the shell you know, is kind of makes more sense. So like number 4 buckshot is kind of where I would say defensive that a 3-inch Magnum might be the only one in buckshot or and stuff that I would go with, because it holds 41 pellets. The trade-off is kind of good in that sense, because when you put 3-inch Magnums in these, you cut down the amount of shells that you hold. Even some 2 3/4, like the S&Bs, a lot of times those are a little bit longer, and you can only fit less of them in your gun. So make sure whatever load you decide to buy, that, you know, if that's something that's an issue to you, make sure you check that out. Put them in your gun safely. You know, be safe about it. You know, don't point it at anybody. You know the rules. But yeah, check it out. You know, whatever ammos, but especially the clear hull style of ammo, which I don't care for as much as you know, these style of hulls. You know, which is most of the time I think a little bit better brand do these style of holes. I don't know exactly what you call them. The other ones are clear. You can see the shot of the slug. The Brennickeys are fine, but like the Wolf and the S&B, they don't pattern as tight. That's not necessarily a negative. It could be a positive. You know, if you're looking for a little bit wider pattern, then maybe go with those. But definitely check the capacity on your gun, because a lot of times those are a little bit longer. Just a little semi-pro tip there for you. But 2 3/4 is fine for a self-defense shotgun. It's all you need. It's everything you need, nothing you don't. How about that? If you must have a 3-inch, get one with a 3-inch chamber. Don't look at one of these. But you know, anybody that just doesn't know, they may think, well, I got to have one with a 3-inch, you know, but they've never fired 3-inch buckshot. Be prepared to man up, because they kick and they hurt. They're not fun. They're more expensive, harder to find. The 2 3/4 is more than enough. It's more than adequate. It's been getting the job done for years. I don't think law enforcement even uses 3-inch. I don't think. There may be some, but most of them use 2 3/4. Military uses 2 3/4. It's an industry standard. 3-inch, like I said, it's better for waterfowl. When you're using BB shots, you know, number 4, number 6, you know, BB, BBB, triple T, double T, you know, stuff like that. I don't know all those shots. I'm not a waterfowl hunter, but much more sense in that. And if you must have a 3-inch Magnum, I would say the number 4 buckshot is probably the best Magnum you can get. Slugs, kind of the same thing with slugs. 2 3/4 is more than enough on just about anything. The type of slug is more important than if it's a 2 3/4 or 3-inch. You know, if you're in bear country, you know, those 3-inch Brennicke Black Magics are probably what you'd want to go with. I would say yeah on that. Other than that, I can't think of any other scenarios where the 3s are fine. You know, the 3s ain't, you know, or the 2 3/4, you know, do fine. I got a 20 gauge, and I use 2 3/4 slugs, and it drops deers in their tracks. You could get a good shot on him, and it'll drop him in his tracks. So 12 gauge is no different. Obviously, a little more powerful, but it does just fine. So, anyways, these are just great shotguns. They're very smooth. They're one of the smoothest, not the smoothest. The smoothest is probably the Ithaca 37s, and I'm gonna do a review on one of those. I got 3 of those. And man, those are just, they call them butter guns for a reason. When you pick one of these up, and as smooth as these are, and I put some oil on them because this one was a little gritty, not gritty, but just needed to be oiled up, and then it smoothed out. They don't feel as good as an Ithaca, but they feel better than Mossbergs. And Mossbergs, generally speaking, don't feel smooth to me. The 500s, the 590s feel a little smoother. I don't know if that makes sense or not. You may agree or disagree with that. But a lot of guys go with the Mossbergs because of the safety, where the safety is on the Mossberg. It's right here, the hang mount and safety. The problem you have with that is right here with the pistol grip. This is where you want the safety, here or here if you got a pistol grip. If it's up here, that's a huge disadvantage for me. I mean, I can still use it, but you got to take your hand off the grip and come up here. That completely negates the reason why it's up there. So I would say if you have to have a pistol grip, I would go with a Remington, a Winchester 1300, 1200, an Ithaca 37, something along those lines. I don't recommend the Mossberg. I think you could be a little disappointed if you have a pistol grip and you got to come up here and hit the safety. And that's one of the biggest advantages of the Remington. Kind of the way I think of the Remington is it's a little bit better. It's a little bit better hunting shotgun, and the Mossberg's a little bit better self-defense. Now, that's not set in stone or anything. That's just kind of off the cuff. I've always used Remington 870s for hunting, and when you pick up a Mossberg 500, one of the things I don't like about it is the forearms. They move a lot. I mean, these move a little bit. But man, the Mossberg just really, man, you can get like 2 inches of movement in there, and it just, I don't like that. The way they lock up is different. The way this locks onto there is just a lot more movement. And that's probably one of my only complaints about the Mossberg. As far as quality, I think that they should have a little bit tighter forearms on them, especially when you're racking this thing. You don't want a lot of wiggle in there. These two got a little bit. Not saying that they're completely from it, but it's just very, very little. Very little. My dad had a 500, and it was bad. It was real bad. I did not like it. I got a Mossberg 590, and it's fine. It feels like a better shotgun. I had a Maverick 88, which is pretty much the same shotgun. The safety's here rather than up here. So there again, if you want a Mossberg and you got to have a pistol grip, I would go with the 88. One of the great things about a Mossberg is the shell lifter is always up. It goes up into the carry, and you can just slide these shells. Boom, boom, boom. Man, they're simple to load. These, you got to push that down. Some people get their finger pinched. It's not a big deal for me. Most shotguns are like this. They've got that. So it's not that big of a deal. But you can see these got high-vis followers on them. I recommend that. But you can see that they're unloaded. Then you have your slide release right here. In order to hit that, to open it up. Which is also a benefit of the Remington, is having a slide release right there, as opposed to right here where the Mossberg is. Now, if you have a conventional stock, when you're holding a stock like this, you can just hit that button right underneath here, really easy. It's just in a great spot. But there again, whenever you put a pistol grip on there, it gets in the way. You got to really change your grip. The Mossberg's ergonomics are made for a stock like that, not a stock like this, in short. And that's why I think the Remington beats it in that category. But these two guns are just phenomenal guns. I don't think that anybody out there would disagree that, man, Remington 870s are legends. Not in just their own mind, in a lot of people's minds. Negatives on these guns, I really can't think of any negatives. That's negative. Maybe the new ones, if you buy a new one, they've had issues. Either one of these guns, I don't think you're going to have any issues out of it. Well, let me tell you this. We were using that real cheap Walmart low brass stuff and some 870s, not these two 870s, but so they were Wingmasters. And they were having a hard time ejecting it. Sometimes you'd have to pile drive the gun in order to get it to come out. And it's because it was cheap ammo. It really isn't the gun's fault. And but the 590 I had was the only one that would just chew it up and spit it out. So if you're dead set on having that really, really cheap stuff, you just need something cheap to shoot, keep that in mind. That you could have that. And I've seen that happen on some YouTube videos before where they're kind of thinking something's wrong with the gun. It's not the gun, it's the ammo. It's really not the gun. So keep that in mind. Any quality ammo is it's gonna be fine. And I wouldn't recommend using that really cheap shotgun shells for home defense or anything. If you're just playing around with it, that's fine. But if you have an issue with that, don't dump the gun because of that, because it's not the gun's fault. Like I said, I would give a nod to the Mossbergs for having dual extractors. It's got one on this side, one on the other side. It just helps, pull that hole out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I hope this discussion helped you. There's just so many videos on these guns. I've probably repeated what a lot of other people have said, but I think if you're looking for an 870, I would start with the Wingmaster. Obviously, you can get it in a short barrel or the longer vent rib barrel, and these don't have vent ribs on them. They're just plain barrels with just a little bead up front. And that's completely fine. This one's got a little click-on. See that little click-on fiber optic. It just pops on the end of the barrel. Those are about $7-8 off eBay. They're all right. You can see it's a little bit crooked. The bead is straight on there, but the fiber optic is a little crooked. You may want to buy a little bit better one. That doesn't really hurt. Just when you look at it, you can just see it's a little bit crooked. It's a shotgun. See their wing. Let me turn this around. See their Wingmasters. Cool guns. Cool guns. Which forearm? That's up to you. Which furniture? That's up to you. Go with whatever's good for you. It really doesn't matter. It's just personal preference. The gun itself is a proven design. Can't go wrong with it. But I recommend the Wingmaster, an older Wingmaster, 2 3/4 inch only. You can't go wrong with it. Over and out, good people.